Thank you, everyone. It's an honor to be here at Casey and Brian's wedding, and to be Brian's best man. Thanks, Paige, for your speech, and then thank you, Mr. McGuire, for yours as well. Um, Now, before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping things. If you have a cell phone, I'm going to ask that you please turn it on and start recording, because this is going to be phenomenal. I wasn't expecting that. There's going to be a lot of those, so get ready. Secondly, if you have any young children or babies that might start crying during the speech, I ask that you keep them in the room, because if the speech sucks, I'm just going to blame it on them. Get ready. All right. I want to start this speech off with a quote I came across the other day by American author Napoleon Hill, which I think will resonate here. Hill said, and you may have heard this before, the number one reason people fail in life is because they listen to their friends, their family, and their neighbors. And so, Casey, on behalf of the entire Hannah Shack guest list, I want to apologize in advance for leading you astray this entire 10 years. Now, there comes a time in every man's life where he'll meet the love of his life, his everything, his soulmate, the person that makes his heart beat faster than anyone else. And for Brian, that day happened 21 years ago in second grade when he met me. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jesse Poon, and for those of you who... Oh, that was actually pretty good. Get the kids out of here. All right. And for those of you that have eyes, yeah, I'm shorter than Brian. In fact, I've spent my entire life looking up to him. And I don't mean figuratively, obviously. I mean literally. He's a foot taller than me. As payback for him winning the genetic lottery, when I was asked to be Brian's best man 7 months ago, I actually didn't accept right away. I traveled to his home in Boston, and I demanded that he sit in his wheelchair and ask me while I looked down on him. Yeah. Not so big now, are you, Brian? Ho, ho, ho. So, as I alluded to earlier, Brian and I met in elementary school in second grade. Now, each day, every student had to write a journal entry. So a couple of days into school, Brian wrote the following eloquent and accurate, and again I stress accurate, journal entry. He wrote, "Dear Diary, today I met Jesse Poon. He is smart and nice. He will be my best friend." And that's a legitimately true story. That's not a joke. He actually wrote that. And on the same day, I wrote, "Dear Diary, today I met Brian H. His last name is unpronounceable and cannot be spelled. He is nice and tall, perhaps too tall. I will call him Godzilla." And since that day in second grade, we've basically been inseparable. So while writing this speech and reflecting on our friendship, I was struck by just how many firsts of Brian's that I've witnessed. I was there for his first dunk, the signature two-handed, oop. Yeah, St. Rose knows what I'm talking about over here. Yeah. Wow, power slam, dude. How'd you break both legs doing that? This also meant that I was there for his first basketball-related apology. The, "Oh, sorry, oh, are you okay?" with a pat on the back, and then he tees himself up. "I'm going to take a seat. I shouldn't have done that." I'm pretty sure that while I have this platform, I want to point out that Brian's St. Rose athletics bio always listed him at 6'8". I'm going on the record here, he's 6'7", okay? He doesn't need that extra inch, bro, okay? Right here, dude. I could use it. Thank you. Share the love. You got the girl. I was also there for Brian's first Little League pitch. I was the batter. He started laughing as soon as I got into the box. And he threw a fastball, first pitch, right into the middle of my back. Yeah, stick to basketball. I was there for Brian's first concussion because I was the one that threw him the lead pass into a tree, which he dove into and knocked himself out. I was there for Brian's first crush. Oh no, so taboo. Don't talk about it at the wedding. It's 6th grade, okay? It's 6th grade. We were deciding what to get her for Valentine's Day, which in middle school is a serious occasion. A word of wisdom to any of the young men here. Believe it or not, an 8-pack of gel pens, not considered romantic. Again, gel pens, not romantic. Don't do that. Which, now that I think about it, is seriously making me reconsider the registry gifts that I got you. So, Casey and Brian, I hope you've always wanted to go to Easton, Pennsylvania, home of the Crayola Crayon Factory. Get excited. I have heard that Brian's gift giving has considerably improved. Actually, for his wedding gift, I don't know if anyone knows this, he got Casey a 20-pack of big ballpoint pens. So, very pleased to see that. The point is, I've been there for almost every big moment and big injury in Big H's life. But by far, the biggest moment of his life, and the one that stands out to me most, is the day he told me about you, Casey. And let's just take a second to appreciate how beautiful Casey looks up there tonight. Incredible. Now, I knew immediately that you were special on that very first phone call that he made from St. Rose. He told me he met a girl named Casey from Burnt Hills, New York. And my first thought was, wow, that town sounds apocalyptic. Like, really weird and really strange. My second thought was that, wow, Brian must really like this girl if he's calling me because he has Boost Mobile and gets charged by the minute. And everything he said on that call, that you're beautiful, that you're intelligent, that you're caring, all of that could not have been more true. And I don't think I've ever told Brian this, but the first time I came to Albany, it wasn't to visit him. It wasn't to see the Women of Troy roller derby team. It was to meet you. And when I saw you two together for the first time, you looking just as beautiful as you do tonight, and Brian in his St. Rose basketball hoodie with Cheetos crumbs running down the front and beer foam dripping off the sleeves, I said, oh, wow, dude, you really knocked it out of the park in this one. That is surprising. I might have to intervene on Casey's behalf. But I do think it's obvious to those who know Brian best how you've changed his life for the better. You have a loving soul, you radiate positivity, and you have an ability to bring out the best in others, and you make Brian the best version of himself. I hear through the grapevine that he even does his own laundry now. Lights, darks, dryer sheets, you name it, he does it.
You can do it!
And to the folks who don't know Brian, so I'm looking at this side of the room, let me just tell you a little bit about the man who Casey's about to marry, or who did just marry. I gave him the rings. I should probably know that. Casey is marrying a fiscally responsible man. Yeah, that's not the joke. That's the funny part. There's a joke after that. A man who used to only fill up his gas tank $1 at a time at the gas pump because, in his words, running on fumes is better than running on a full tank. She has married a man of resolve, a man who has never once caught a fish in the Cumberland Reservoir despite fishing it for over 10 years and despite the fact that it's part of his backyard. What's that saying? You can teach a man to fish? Well, you can't teach Brian. You might be able to teach every other man here how to fish, but if the sea levels continue to rise, Brian's going to starve. And she's also married a brilliant man. Oh, no laughter there? He disguised the money jar in his room by writing Yenum on it. Any idea what that means? I'll give you guys a second. If you guess that it spells money backwards, you would have been able to steal Brian's $5.72 that he had saved up at the time. In all seriousness, Brian and Casey, in your 8 short years of knowing each other, you've already lived a life of happiness together that many people may never come close to reaching. I'm truly honored to be part of the best day of your lives, and I'm overjoyed to celebrate your love and your future together. And to both those who know Brian and those that may have just met him, I want to tell you that I have really never met a man whose selflessness is so inherent to who he is, whose compassion and whose loyalty dictates his every decision, and whose devotion to his friends, his family, and of course to Casey is paramount. Brian, your friends and your family would drop everything in the world to help you at a moment's notice because we know that's exactly what you do for us. I'm lucky to have a best friend like you, and I think I speak for all of your friends and family here when I say the world is lucky to have a person like you in it. And Mr. and Mrs. Hanishak, it's easy to see where Brian gets the best parts of himself. You have made countless lives, including mine, far better simply by being the people that you are. I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes I wish you hadn't told my parents some of the stuff, but... And Leah and Sarah, it has been a joy to have two additional little sisters in my life. Little. Yeah, I'm still shorter than them. I trust that it's been a joy to have another big brother. And this is when you nod and you say, oh, we love you, Jesse. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Wasn't scripted. I realize I'm waxing poetic now, so I urge you not to forget that this is the same man that used to hide Milwaukee's best beer cans in his basement ceiling tiles when he was done with them. And Mr. and Mrs. Hanishak, just remember that was Leah and Sarah. And so, since I began this speech with a quote, I'd like to close with a quote as well. This one comes from one of my favorite authors, Mark Twain, who once said, 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the things you did. And so, Casey, now's your chance. The door is right over there. And I know Brian can't catch you, not because of the injury, just because he's really slow. All right. Without further ado, this brings me to the final words of my speech. So please, I'd like everyone to join me and raise your glasses for a toast. And this is I'm gonna do things a little differently here. I want everyone, kind of like a call and response type of thing. I'm gonna say one line and then I want you to repeat it because I think it's nice if everyone can join in on a toast and, you know, I've already given an awesome speech, so I don't wanna take all of it. All right, so if you're ready, we're gonna go line by line. To our always best friend. To our tallest best friend. To the one who claims he's 6'11", but is statistically 6'7". To the guy who always has our back. And to the girl who's now a Hanishak. Here's to you both. And the rest of your lives. Here's to Brian's new best friend, Casey. Your lawfully wedded wife. Cheers. Thank you, guys. Love you guys.